Hello students, I am here with another video from the chapter Transportation in Animals and Plants from class 7th NCERT book. Before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that till now what all things we have discussed in this lesson. So we have just started this lesson and I have given the concept of transportation, why it is necessary and what is the meaning of this term. So we know that this transportation is very common term which we can use for transporting any of the materials from one place to another. Wherever it is to be transported, we all need one vehicle. So here we have seen in this last class that in the human body also, in the animals also, in the plants also, we require to transport many things, such as some of them are very useful and some of them are not useful. So the good things also has to be transported and bad things also has to come out from your body. So for this transportation we have two types of systems which is involved in these two processes. One is for giving the good things in the body, and one system is working on getting which helps us to get rid of those bad things which is present in our body. Means waste materials are already present in our body. That is we have seen in the process of respiration also, where we saw that respiration, at the end of this respiration, the end product was the water vapor and the carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide and water vapor, they are waste for the body, and our body is not going to keep this for the longer time. That is why we need to exhale the carbon dioxide. Okay, and similarly there are other waste products which are being obtained, which are being formed as a result of various processes which is taking place in our body. Now what happens to these things? So these things are going to be thrown out from the body, and if they are good, they have to be kept in your body parts. So whenever you need to keep the good things in your body, then you require another system, and we are discussing upon that system only, that it is a circulatory system. So we have discussed about some of the parts of circulatory system, where we have seen that it consists of it is present in the form of with the help of the organs. Now the organs which are present in this circulatory system is there are three main organs, that is heart, the blood vessels and the blood. And yesterday we discussed about one of the component of this means circulatory system. Okay, so that was the blood. Okay, so we discussed about this blood in the last class, where we saw that it is one of the red colored fluid, and it consists of the fluid part as well as the solid part, that is the cells. So in the liquid part of the blood, that is known as the plasma, which is you can see here in the diagram which is placed here, as the plasma is the liquid part, and then we have cells, that is the red blood cells, white blood cells and the platelets. So these are the three main cells which are present in the blood, and where because of which we can transport the things from one place to another place. So red blood cells are going to transport oxygen, and then white blood cell is going to fight from the germs, and platelets are helpful in clotting of blood, and then plasma was the only liquid part present in the blood which is going to help in the flow of this red colored fluid which contains hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin is very much necessary for the transportation of the oxygen and other energy products and other various nutrients which is being coming out from as a result of your digestion. So we have seen about these components in a very brief way. Now we move on to today's video, that will be on the another component of this circulatory system, that is our blood vessels. Okay, now we have seen that this blood is going to flow somewhere, so you require the things to flow, you require certain vessels, certain parts where these blood could flow. So these parts, these organs, these tubes where the blood is flowing is known as the blood vessels. Okay, so we'll deal mainly with this. Okay, now the what are these blood vessels? So these blood vessels are the tube like structures which are present in your body for the transportation. So see, it's very easy to understand what is the meaning of the word transportation. So transportation means you're moving something from one place to another, and now for moving something you require, for example, if something has to be carried in the truck, so where it will run, it is going to run, is it going to run on water? No, it requires a medium for transportation, means you require the roads for that truck to move. Similarly here, the blood is present, and where is that blood going to move? It is going to move through these blood vessels. Okay, so these blood vessels which are present all over the body, which is going to be helpful in the blood flow. Okay, so this is going to help in the blood flow. Now these are of three types, that is arteries, veins and capillaries, and this diagram is going to show you what is the difference between arteries, veins and capillaries. So as you could see this diagram, it's very easy to understand that what are these blood vessels about. So I told you the basic concept, that what are these blood vessels? These blood vessels are tube-like structure which you could see on your skin in the form of blue or green colored lines which you could see under the skin, and these are only the blood vessels. Now these blood vessels, what do they contain? They have the blood in it. Okay, now what kind of blood it is being flown, and then why some of these could be seen from outside, and whereas where are the others, and how are these organs to be supplied with the help of these blood vessels? Now just to find out the answer for this question, we need to know more about these blood vessels first. So the second concept about blood vessel is that it is of three types. Okay, now it could be arteries, it could be veins, or it could be capillaries. So it is the diagram for an artery, for a vein and a capillary. Okay, now what are these? I must tell you. So with the help of this diagram you can understand that one of the tube is a thick one, another of the tube is a thin one. Okay, and the next one is a very small tube. So yes, this is the main difference between the arteries, veins and capillaries. So arteries are having they are having a small space for the blood flowing. Suppose that this is a tube, and if the place for flowing of any liquid, or you suppose that for watering your plants you require to water the plants, and you will have two types of pipes or three types of pipe. One is a pipe which is having a big hole, and a pipe which is having a small hole. Okay, so this pipe with a small hole in the center is known as an artery. Similarly, it is used here in the form of the transportation of the blood from one place to another. So veins and arteries are there. So what are arteries? Arteries is a tube-like structure with a center which is having a small center hole. Okay, whereas these veins are the long pipes which is having a very large hole in the center for the flow of blood. Okay, so if the hole of this artery is small, it means the wall of this artery will be thick, then only the hole will be small, isn't it? So artery is having a thick outer wall. But this, what about vein? So if the center is having a large lumen, so the space is known as lumen now. Okay, now you have got the point. If then it means it is the space which we are talking about, from where is this blood flowing, that is known as the lumen. So this lumen is small of the artery, and lumen of the vein is a large one. So if the lumen is large, it means it is having a very thin outer boundary. Fine, that is why it is having a large lumen, or it is having a large space for the flow. So you could just remember that it is a pipe which is having a small space for the flowing of the blood, which is an artery. And if the flowing of the blood is taking place with a large lumen, with a large space to flow, that is known as the vein. And then what about this capillaries? So these capillaries are the junctions. These are the junction points of the arteries and the veins. Means suppose that if you need to do we were talking about the roads, if one truck is traveling on a road, then what happens? Is that road a very small one? If you need to go from one place to another place, and one station to if you need to move from one state to another state, then what you will do? You will go through the roads, and it is not only one road which is containing. You need to take the turns. You need to take an highway. You could take a highway, or you could take any other place, and you could reach the another state by traveling through different routes. Now similarly here, if one road is over, it is going to join with another road. So one road is joined with the another road. Now here also the pipes, these pipes with these tubes are not a single one, so there are junctions in between. They will be joining one more another tube so that the flow could be very easy for this blood. So at the junction points, the another blood vessels are present, okay, at the junction. So these are known as the capillaries. So we have seen that what are these arteries, veins and capillaries. Now why we are studying here? Because we are dealing with the blood, and where will this blood flow? This blood will flow in the tube like structure which is known as the blood vessels, and it is of three types: arteries, veins and capillaries. So the artery is having a small space for the flow of the blood, and if the flow of the blood is it means it is a small space, it means the blood will be flowing in under very high pressure. Okay, why the high pressure will be there? If you need to flow the object, so if you need to flow that blood in the vessel, what you will do? You will take two types of capillaries, two types of blood vessels, either artery or a vein. And where are these capillaries present? These will be present at the place of junction of these two arteries and the veins. Now we will see some more differences in these arteries and the veins in the next slide. Okay, so with this you can see the diagram, and now in the next slide also I'll show you some more differences between these arteries and veins. Now as the name suggests, these arteries are the blood vessels which carry from the blood from heart, and that contains oxygen into different parts of the organ, to different parts of the body. Now these arteries carries the pure blood. Okay, so these arteries are always carrying the pure blood. So please remember, artery always carries a pure blood. And what about veins? Veins are the structures which are going to carry the impure blood. Okay, now what is the meaning of this pure and impure blood? Pure blood means the blood which is oxygenated. Okay, pure blood means the blood which is oxygenated. Now what about impure blood? Impure blood is the blood which is deoxygenated. Okay, now what is this oxygenated and deoxygenated? As the name suggests, it is oxygenated is a long word. Again, it is formed by oxygen and another word. So oxygen means the word the blood which is containing oxygen in it. Okay, so it is a pure blood. So the blood which contains dissolved oxygen in it is known as the pure blood, means the blood which is carrying oxygen from the heart, from the lungs to the organs of the body. Okay, so this is known as this is the work of an artery. Now what about veins? Veins are just opposite of the arteries. So these veins are going to work, these veins are going to help in the flow of blood which is impure in its nature. Now impure means it is deoxygenated. Deoxygenated means it is not having oxygen, it contains deoxygenated means it is containing the carbon dioxide in the blood. So this contains carbon dioxide means this carbon dioxide, where is this carbon dioxide coming? It is not coming from anywhere, it is just it is being collected from all over the tissue which is present in our body. So where is the exchange of the gases taking place? It is taking place in the lungs. Okay, so the lung needs to collect the oxygen, and as well as it also needs to collect the carbon dioxide. So from where is this oxygen coming? This oxygen is coming from the outside. And from where is this carbon dioxide being collecting in the lungs? It is collecting with the help of these veins which is bringing that carbon dioxide towards that lung so that it could be expelled outside. Now it is not very easy concept that just I'm telling you that it is moving from one place and it is reaching there. No, in between the center of the organs it is going to come, that is your heart. So you know that a heart is a organ, it is an organ which is going to pump the blood. Okay, now for pumping the blood again it requires the arteries and veins. So these arteries and veins are the only these are only going to help the heart for the pumping of these bloods, whether it is a good blood or it is a bad blood. Okay, so good means it is oxygenated and bad means it is deoxygenated. So both of them are being carried by separate blood vessels. There is no mixing of the blood in human beings. Okay, now what about arteries? So here it is being told that these blood vessels carry, means arteries are carrying the blood from the heart that contains oxygen. It means it is carrying the oxygenated blood from the heart to the different parts of the body. Now what about the veins? So these veins are these are the blood vessels which carry the blood which is rich in carbon dioxide. It means it is carrying the deoxygenated blood. Okay, now here also one more diagram is of arteries and the veins, where red color is being showing you the artery and the blue color is showing you the deoxygenated blood carrying vessel, that is the vein. Okay, so artery is red in color and vein is blue in color. Here it is being shown in the diagrammatic form. Okay, it is not such that we are having a blue blood and we are having a red blood in your vessels. Okay, it's not that. The blood is red in color, but it contains only oxygen and carbon dioxide for making it oxygenated and for making it deoxygenated. Okay, please remember this. So this is just for the sake of your convenience that you will be studying about these two types of blood in a very frequent way in this chapter. So you will be confused that from where is the blood going and where is it moving from where till where it is moving. So for helping you out, the color has just changed. You have changed the color of this arteries and the veins, but in actual it is not such that condition that you are having a red blood and a blue blood. Please remember. Okay, children get confused often that you are having that deoxygenated blood is blue in color. It's not that. Okay, now next thing, the next difference we come upon is the arteries have thick wall. As you have seen here, the arteries have thick walled because it need to flow the blood in high pressure, and that high pressure is because you need to flow the blood from heart towards the different organs. It means that at the same time your heart needs to pump the blood towards your brain, and it needs to pump the blood towards the feet also. So at two different places, at two different distances, it requires to flow the blood, and it has to be flown in a very strong way. It has to be flown in a under very high pressure. Okay, so next thing is that you need to know the next difference, which is telling you about it is narrower, so more blood can flow very quickly through them. Similarly, here these veins are slightly wider in its nature. So we have seen this, veins are wider as compared to the artery. Okay, so artery is not very much wider in its space for the flow of this blood. So that now this wider part is that it only needs to collect the blood from one place to another place. Okay, so it needs to collect the blood which is deoxygenated, means carbonated. This carbon dioxide blood is there, so this has to be collected in a large amount, so this lumen is large. Okay, so that more blood could be collected from different parts of the body, and it should reach towards the heart, and it is not under very high pressure, it is under low pressure. Okay, now next is that the blood, they do not contain valves, such as the blood in the arteries flows in the right direction of the pumping of the heart. Okay, now you need to know that the blood flowing is towards from the heart towards the organs. That means it is under a high pressure. Okay, now they have the valves means they have a lid which is going to close and open once the blood is flowing. So in arteries there is no such lid present, that is known as valve. So there is no valve in the arteries, and whereas in the veins they contain valve. Why it contains valve? Because the amount which is flowing is much more higher in its volume, so that it requires it is going to require one valve so that it could be closed, and after closing the valve, it prevents the backflow of the blood in the veins. Okay, once this is going to flow, this helps in the is going to be prevented. The backflow of the blood is going to be prevented, means from one vessel if the blood is gone, it cannot come back from that vessel again. So once it is gone, it means it is going to move from one place to another place without coming back. Okay, so this means the backflow will be stopped because veins contain valve in it. Okay, because large amount of blood is flowing from them. Now this was about the arteries and the veins, and one more thing I wanted to tell you here only about arteries, veins and capillaries. So where is this capillary present? I just told you that it will be present at the junction of the arteries and the veins. Okay, now these are the places where the exchange of gases is going to take place. I told you that capillaries are present in the lungs, in the alveoli. So where are these present? Because there the gases exchange is present. Now please remember that capillaries will always be present at the place where the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is being interchanged. Okay, so the blood is not going to interchange, it is only going to, the gases are going to interchange, the energy is going to interchange, the nutrients are going to be interchanged among each other. Okay, now next thing I just wanted to tell you that you know that arteries always carry pure blood. Okay, and veins always carry impure blood. Now you all know the concept of pure and impure blood. So this pure blood means oxygenated blood, and and the vein means it carries the deoxygenated blood. But there is one exception. Now what is the meaning of this exception? Means normally in the normal cases in our body also there is the normal case where the veins are carrying the deoxygenated blood and arteries are carrying the oxygenated blood, but there are special veins and arteries which is present near the heart. So that heart is containing a pulmonary artery and a pulmonary vein. Now the word pulmonary means it is related with the lungs. Okay, so just to forget about the words. Now I just wanted to tell you the exception. What is this exception about? So this exception is going to tell you that this heart contains one special type of artery and the vein which is just opposite to the normal veins. Okay, and it is just opposite to the normal artery. As I told you that normal arteries are going to commonly the arteries are going to carry pure blood and the veins are going to carry impure blood. But what about pulmonary artery? As I told you that it is an exception, it means it is going to carry just opposite. So this pulmonary artery is going to carry the impure blood, okay, that carries the deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary vein is going to carry the pure blood. Okay, so this is just interchanged. Fine. So please remember this exception. This exceptional condition is that pulmonary artery always carries impure blood. Impure means deoxygenated blood, and this pulmonary vein always carry oxygenated blood towards the heart, from the heart towards the body organs. So this was the exception which is present in the heart. When we will discuss this heart, the structure of heart, I'll tell you that where is this happening and from where is that deoxygenated blood coming. But only the thing is to remember here is that you need to remember what about pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. So normally the arteries carry pure blood except pulmonary artery, okay, and normally the veins carry impure blood except pulmonary vein. Fine. So what about pulmonary artery is given here? I'll just quickly read it out. I have told you the concept. The pulmonary artery is a special blood vessel that contains heart to the lungs, that connects heart to the lungs. Okay, it takes the blood that contains less oxygen or deoxygenated blood. Just now I told you that arteries always carry pure blood except pulmonary artery. So this pulmonary artery is going to carry the less oxygenated blood, or it is known as deoxygenated blood. And what about pulmonary vein? And unlike all other arteries are going to carry oxygen rich blood. Fine. Now next thing is that about pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein, again, it is a special type of blood vessel which connects the lungs and the heart. Again, it carries oxygen rich blood from the lungs to heart. Okay, so it is going to carry oxygen rich blood from lungs to heart. Unlike all other veins are going to carry oxygenated blood. Fine. Unlike all other veins are going to carry oxygen less blood or deoxygenated blood. So this was about the exceptional condition which I have discussed just now. So please remember, I'm just reminding it again, only the thing which is to be remembered here is that all the arteries carries pure blood, that is oxygenated blood, except pulmonary artery which carries the deoxygenated blood. Okay, similarly pulmonary vein is carrying the oxygen less oxygen blood, but this pulmonary vein is carrying all the pure blood, okay, from the heart to all the body organs. Now what about capillaries? So these capillaries are the smallest blood vessels. Okay, so these are the smallest blood vessels. These arteries divides themselves into capillaries, and which then deliver the oxygenated blood to the tissues, and then these capillaries take up deoxygenated blood towards the veins. So it is, I told you that it is present at the junctions of these arteries and the veins, where the exchange of the gas is going to take place, which makes the blood oxygenated and deoxygenated. Means it is going to separate the blood from oxygenated to deoxygenated one. Okay, so this was all about the blood vessels which is present in our body. It is of three types: arteries, veins and capillaries. So this was all about these three blood vessels. Now one more topic I'll discuss is the pulse. what do you mean by the pulse? Okay, so this is a very interesting thing, that where we need to know about what is the meaning of this word pulse. So you know that heart always pumps the blood, okay, and it is very easy to understand that our heart always pumps the blood, and we are studying since our childhood that heart is an organ which is going to pump the blood and it is going to flow from one place to another place, means from one body organ to another body organ, from heart to all the body tissues it is receiving blood because of the pumping action of the heart. Now the arteries and the veins are also involved. Now you are very much clear about arteries, veins. Now the continuous pumping of this blood in the arteries, it results in the rhythmic throbbing, which is known as the pulse. Now what is this throbbing? You need the pulsation. You can feel that pulse in your wrist. You can just count the pulse by putting your finger just at the point of this, above of this your wrist. Okay, you can just feel it in your right hand also, you can feel it in your left hand also, and you will be finding that the pulse rate of the normal human being is about 70 to 80 beats per minute. So this is what is about the pulse rate. What is this pulse rate is known as? This pulse rate is defined as the number of pulse beat per minute. Okay, now how many times this heart is beating? Our heart is beating 70 to 80 times per minute. That is why we are feeling that throbbing in your wrist. So that rhythmic throbbing is because of the flow of the blood which is taking place, it is because of the pumping of your heart. So this pumping is taking place 70 to 80 times per minute in an adult. So this becomes the pulse rate, or the pulse beats per minute. Okay, pulse rate per minute, beat per minute it is also written as. Okay, so this is known as the pulse rate. So next, this how is this pulse being generated? And it is very easy to understand. This pulse rate is being generated because of the continuous pumping of your heart. Now heart is an organ which is present in the center of your body, okay, and this is placed in between the lungs. Okay, so it is why these lungs are present near to that heart. So this heart is present very near to your lungs, because the lungs also are important as your heart is important. Okay, so why it is important? Because it needs to clean the blood. So once the pure blood is reaching to your lungs, this pure blood is reaching from the lungs to heart, this heart is going to pump, and as soon as it is pumping, you will feel this rhythmic throbbing in your wrist, in your other parts of the body also. You could feel that rhythm, and you could even count. And I feel that you all should count your pulse rate, and you could write down in the activity which is given in your NCERT book. You need to take out the pulse rate of your classmates, and you all know that you people are not going to the classes nowadays. So what you will do, you will just take the help of your members of your family, and you can measure the pulse rate of your each of your family members. Now how are you going to measure this pulse rate? I'll just tell you. So you just look into a clock, or you can look into a watch, and just see it for 1 minute, and hold the hand in this manner as this person is holding the hand. Just keep two fingers, first and the second finger, means index finger and the middle finger has to be kept on the wrist, and as soon as you're keeping it on the wrist, you will start feeling a throbbing movement in your right and the left hand. Okay, just take a left hand for the use of this measuring this throbbing pulse, okay, or for measuring the pulse. So use your left hand to measure, means you take your left hand and you put your right hand on it. So you put your right hand on it, and you will measure this throbbing. You will feel that throbbing sensation is happening on your wrist. Now count those throbbing actions by looking into the watch or a clock, okay, and measure how many times that throbbing action or that sensation of palpation can be felt by your finger. So you can feel that, and you just count it, and after 1 minute you just tell the counting to the member for which you are measuring this. For example, if it is between 70 to 80 beats per minute, it means the person is having the normal pulse rate. Now if it is more, it means the heartbeat is very fast, means your heart is pumping it very fast, the blood is being pumped from your heart very fast rate. And if it is slower than 70, it is slower than the 70 beats per minute, it means your heart is going to flow the, it means it is pumping the blood at very lower rate. So you, both the things are should not be there, normal pulse rate as it lies between 70 to 80. So you can count your pulse rate after brisk walking or after doing some exercises. You can feel that your increase and decrease in the pulse rate could also be measured. Okay, so because of doing certain activities, you could feel that the throbbing action will be this rhythmic throbbing sensation will be changing as per the activities which are being done. Okay, but remember that what is the rate of a normal pulse, what is the normal pulse rate? That is 70 to 80 beats per minute. Okay, so this is one of the interesting activity which is given in your book also. You can find out and read it and just find out the data which is till what you can find out. Okay, means you should not go out and just take the help of your other classmates who are living in your locality. Just take the family members just measure the pulse rate of your family members and write down in a tabular form. Okay, so you can easily measure it by seeing it into the watch. Just keep a count how you will be able to measure this. Okay, so I have told you how you are going to do this activity, and that was all for today, children. So we have discussed about the blood vessels. So lastly we discussed about the blood, which consists of plasma and the cells. Similarly, now where is this blood flowing? So I told you about there are 3 blood vessels, which is arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries always carries the pure blood and the veins carries impure blood, except the pulmonary artery and the pulmonary vein. And we also saw what is this pulse rate about. So we have seen that the normal pulse rate is about 70 to 80 beats per minute. If 72 is going to come and between 79 it is going to come, both of them are correct. It depends from, it is going to be changed from one person to another person. You could measure and just record your data of your activity. So children, that's all for today's video. I will meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed. Thank you for watching the video.